And because I moved house, I've got loads of this at home. Well, fair play, it's pretty good. Welcome back. I'm trying to stand still because I know this makes people feel sick. Anyway, we're back at the Stoke rewire. The kitchen is partially fitted. It's all ready to be templated tomorrow or the day after for whatever it is, granite, quartz, I'm not quite sure. I've come back today, there's a few sockets, a few things that we could do to power up. The fridge and freezer are over there, the tall boy units. This is the one that's gonna be in for the walk-through Narnia hidden door thing to the utility room. I've got a massive bunch of cables behind here that we need to cut through. First job in a second, I'm gonna see the length of cable that comes on the fridge and freezer. Normally it's not very long, fingers crossed it is, which means we can put a socket low level in here, bring them up rather than unswitched sockets behind. Next thing is just outside, which I'll show you in a second. You should have seen the video of me with the Milwaukee. You should have seen the video so far of me with the You should have seen the video with me with the Milwaukee router, whatever, to do this end panel. We brought the template, we got that. We're gonna do that today as well. A few more sockets to go on. This is done, dusty boys are down. Two-way light to go on. All the lights are now in and on. These are the X50s, which we've got here, and these have the black bezels. Very nice. Customer stuck up the Deco mesh system. This is the same one I've got in my house because they were my guinea pig, not intentionally. They work really well, it's a simple setup, and then I obviously got the same ones at my house. And I've got to be honest with you guys, it has worked an absolute treat. Setup we've got out here, we bought the Hoover, vacuum, whatever. Pack out stuff, a huge box which has got the router in it, box of bits, table. I've bought some clamps. I bought some cellophane wrap as well to protect the front of the cupboard for when I clamp my template to make sure it doesn't get scratched. I'm gonna isolate a bit of the stuff. Let's get on with it. Then let's get on with it. But one of the pain in the ass things that I'm really putting off is because of the 10 mil and all my holes are really full in the ceiling, I've got to do a whole new run back to the board all the way to here, which is where the cooker's going. And then at the same time, the outside light coil, which is there, for the two up and down lights at the back can be pulled through with it. But the breakers are turning up today at my house, so that's not being powered up. I mean, the cooker's not in yet. Why did I go outside? Cable length on the fridge and the freezer is just over 1.70 meters, which is perfect. So for the furthest one, I don't know if it's fridge or freezer, going into this unit, we've got plenty. So the 6 mil, I can't quite remember. So there's that many cables behind here. We've got labeled up cooker feed, which it's not. So that's going down to the island, and that's also going down to the island. We've got the island feed, which isn't the island feed, going here. So that can do microwave and the fridge and the freezer. So we can do a double socket here and then carrying on with the 6 mil, another double socket there. So I was gonna do, I think from the old video, it was gonna be an isolation switch for this, that and the other, because they weren't gonna be accessible behind. Now they are 2 double sockets with a 6 mil link between. We can do it on a 32 amp breaker. The 13 amp plugs within the plug tops themselves will cover the units themselves. So that's fantastic. And then there's 3 cables coming down. So you've got your lighting, undercab LED lighting feed, which is here, the 6 mil, the 2.5, to all that sort of stuff there. So they can have isolation switches there. They can be brought up, passed through. Right, let's get the level out. Let's get the multi-tool out. Let's get the Hoover on, cut some boxes. Over the years, I've worked with a lot of tradespeople that are like myself. Quite illiterate, not good at English, cannot spell, cannot write professionally. I've got dyslexia, so I've struggled with it for years and years, and most of the time made myself look like a fool across on Word documents to new potential customers. But with Tradify's new AI feature, You click Smart Write, it allows you to change it to more professional tone, obviously spell check. You can elaborate, you can summarize, or just improve the writing just by a click of a button. This is for me a game changer to come across more professional than when I can on the phone or in person. There's currently a 30-day free trial or 30% off for the first 3 months. Check out the description below. Tradify your job management software. They are in, done, down. I switched to the back. So I put in the conduit low level for this, and I wasn't sure if I was going to gland it, I was going to do this is what I've done. In fact, I had some 4x2 trunking in the van. Slot that out, that's then linked through into what we need. The feeds that come out of the wall are linked over the bracket into where they need to go. And then the top one, the plinth lights that link up with these ones, I've brought up on the top. Going around, 100% would like to have glanded it, put it on a box and whatnot, but I actually even think myself it's completely unnecessary pulling it through. And if I want to gland it and earth it, why don't we do it on a part that's easier to get to? It's me again, showing you things that I've made a mistake on. That's all up. I've got that socket going on and I've got that socket going on because the customer wants to do the fridge and freeze this night. So I'm going to power that all up and test that in a bit. But the lovely bit of trunking that I put all the way back there, you can just see on the back of these. So we've got that support, which actually goes flush all the way back to the wall. So me pushing this back doesn't go back. So I'm going to rip that off, and all I'll do, I'll show you behind this one because it's much easier. It's just, I'm going to feed, because this one's a shorter back, but that one, you can get behind it. So the cables are brought up, I can just tuck underneath that way. Coming to the main event. So we're going to have a socket within here. I'm going to put a fast fix box in, double one, so it looks nice and sweet, and the internal's part of the cupboard. Why did I say that so weird? We've got a big end panel that's sitting on flush with this that runs all the way down. So the cabling for this socket in the back here can just be pulled up, lovely jubbly, down we go, it's in a void. But we're also putting a socket here. We've got our 18mm normal cab, and then we've got an 18mm end panel. So in the past with these, I've masking taped it, we've multi-tooled it out, we've sat what is a fast fix box in it, and you can see the backside, obviously only a little bit, the fast fix box, and you've got the cabling going down. We've done it in trunking before, we've clipped it before. It just doesn't look nice in a brand new kitchen. Hence the reason I got the router. I want to router this front bit completely. So we'll take that outside, we'll clamp it, we'll show you that. And then in this bit, we're gonna have to router a little bit as well, because the 25mm metal back boxes, which is over here, is gonna sit in this, obviously 18mm, and then we've got a further 7mm to go. But then we're gonna route down or potentially across. We'll probably go across now, thinking about it, because then we can pick up the supply from this socket straight through to here. So let's get this pencil lined up where I want it to sit. And then I was gonna take this off and put it on, and then take this off as well and take it out separately. But what might make sense is, because these are screwed together, is take the whole cab out together, we'll put the jig on, we'll clamp it down, we'll router exactly 25mm depth that we need, and then I can take this off and then router a little chamfer across with the cable. I'm just gonna do some weight saving and take the door off, take the shelves off, make it easy to move. No, it's not fit. I was just checking it's not fixed to the dishwasher. Yeah, it is. Dishwasher socket, I'm going to do it low level as well. So if you open it, yeah, because when you bring a plug socket, when you bring the plug from an appliance in, you have to do a hole saw, obviously for the whole plug to go through. And as much as I'd like to do it here, if there's ever a fault, you can't get to it, so it has to go on the floor. But we'll get some of them white desk plugs that you feed cables through. That makes it look a bit nicer. So socket at the bottom there, socket up here. So if you haven't seen, or you got fed up of me talking on the other video, this is the template I made for the router. to sit within, go around, run, do the job. This is the finished product on a spare bit of MDF. I literally brought it from the unit to this job just to show you this for this bit of video. So you got to drop a like just for the... I'm going to put some film on here, but that is going to sit there as where I want it. So for the time being, to get this lined up, I'm just going to put some stuff on. And because I moved house, I've got loads of this at home. Well, fair play, it's pretty good. Absolutely mint. Oops. Ooh, I altered it a little bit. I double planed it with some washers, and anyway, this time I should make Milwaukee power tools. Ooh, I've just done the deepest measurement, a tiny bit deeper than the box. Set a little stopper thing. I'm getting used to this. I'm going to even get my glasses, a mask, and the Hoover. Because I never took into account the depth of my ply that I've used as the jig, I've got to go down by another 3mm on the internal one into the cab, which is fine. It just didn't plunge any more than that, so it is what it is. Nice clean finish all the way around. Ooh, look at that. I need to take another 2mm off. Alright, take 2. I could have edited all that bit out and just said it was perfect first time, but I'm not. Ooh, very nice. I know that fits. I'm going to do the channel. I won't record this bit. You lot are bored of me doing woodwork. We're electricians, not chippies. But I'm going to do that. Router out, enough for the grommet to go in. And then we'll jump inside. Ooh, that one's cut. Nearly knocked out the wrong knuckle at them. Knock out the... Oh. I think what's going to be easier for me is poking it through the hole, poking it out the box, and then feeding it through because of the angle. If you look at the angle of this coming in, so if I try and do this through the camera. And then, if it does, slip it on. Oh, right, and I've got 4 tiny little screws to pinch that back, and the tiny little screws require washers because the heads go straight through the holes. don't go through the hole in the washer. I'm going to put one screw in it because of the issue I've got. I don't have any washers. There's one pre-made tiny little hole right in the middle. I presume for exactly this. We'll see if it's strong enough. I ended up all 4 corners. Strong that. Anyway, I'm going to get this front on and then I'll whiz you around. Final thoughts. Just looking at that through the camera doesn't look level now. Look at that. From that way, obviously, on the inside, you can't see anything. Fabulous. And then coming across the socket feed, it's not wired in or anything. Cable tied to the feet, so it's off the floor. Put some tacks in, into this socket. This isn't wired in yet, so hence that. We brought it up, we give it a bit of a bend, going through. So, what do you think, guys? Let me know in the comments. I know that is a lot of work, 100%. We've gone through this a million times now. I do YouTube, I can do this sort of thing. But the big thing that took the longest was making the template. I've got the template now for this, for good, for doing anything like this. So obviously that's beneficial. But there's other ways and means of doing it. But by far, of every way I've seen and every way I've done, this is by far the cleanest and neatest way. And it's still accessible once if you take the back panel off, which is accessible. If you ever need to replace the cable, you can. I'm back here tomorrow to do the 10mm. I'm going home, I'm going to mow my lawn. I was going to buy the Milwaukee electric lawnmower for £1,200, but my brother has managed to pull out his old Suffolk Punch 30, which we both bought a couple when we were younger. We were going to turn them into go-karts. We never did. We ended up using them to mow people's lawns for pocket money when we were little. This is how long they are, when we were little. And he pulled it out the other day and went, oh, why don't you just use this? And it still runs. So I'm going home to mow my grass because it's very tall. Because the last person didn't mow it for possibly 14 years. So no one cares. Anyway, thanks for watching. Love you, bye.